Hey, Miss Megan.
How have you been feeling?
I've been okay.
Okay, that's good. All right, so do you have anything you'd like to work on? Any problem in particular that you need my help in solving?
Not really, I don't think. I kind of made a lateral move at work,
Okay,
so I guess we'll see how that works out.
okay.
Um,
So is that something that you'd like to add to the agenda, work?
sure.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry, anything else?
Hmm. I didn't make it to the gym this week. Like, I tried, but
Mm-hmm.
just between work and family, it just got kind of crazy.
Okay. So it sounds like you've had a busy week. Right now you're doing good, everything's okay, so you're in a pretty good mood right now.
Yeah, pretty good.
Alrighty. And so far we've got work and maybe the gym on the agenda, some things to talk about today.
Yeah.
Right. And you said you had a lot going on with your family this week. So is there anything you would like to update me on? Is there anything I need to know in particular about what's happened this week?
Um, Nothing in particular. Nothing out of the ordinary. Like I said, work. They did the excuse me, the lateral move. They moved me from basically one program to another.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Beyond that, I went to a family wedding this weekend, and it was okay.
Okay.
So things are okay, I guess.
Alrighty. Well, that's good. If things are okay and things are good, nothing really has happened this week, that's great. So since you're doing well, it seems like, let's go ahead and take a look at your homework from last week. So you had a few things that you were going to look at doing. So let me know, how did you do with your homework?
I did pretty good. Um, of course, my getting to the gym was on my goal list, and
Right.
unfortunately that didn't really happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I did make time for family and some friends this week. Thank God, obviously. Still not getting to bed at a reasonable time,
Okay.
on and off during the week. It's been a little later, and sometimes I get to bed early, I guess, which is like 10 o'clock.
Okay. So I know one of the things that you wanted to work on was building healthy habits.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay if we go ahead and add building habits to the agenda? Is that something that you'd like to look at as
Sure.
well? Okay.
Sure.
So I'm going to just make notes of everything that you're telling me that you would like to look at working on in our session. And remember, anything that you share with me is confidential. I'm not sharing it with anybody else, so just feel free to share what's really on your heart.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I know for your homework, you said you're reviewing your goals with me. Your goals was to go to the gym. You had another goal of getting to bed at a reasonable time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also wanted to spend time with family and friends because it's been something that you were struggling with, just feeling disconnected from everybody.
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't able to make time for the gym. You did, however, make time for the weddings with family. Was there anything else that you were able to do outside of family?
I hung out with some friends from a past job.
Okay.
And I've been trying to get in my Bible a little bit on and off during my lunch break. So.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're making some good headway on your goals. So was there anything else on your homework that you were able to review this past week?
Yes. There were a couple of times I wrote down, well, I put them in my phone, when my mood my stinking thinking kind of rose up and my mood changed.
Okay.
And I reminded myself that I didn't have to feel that way.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So that's awesome that you actually brought that up, because one of the things we're going to work on today is called automatic thoughts.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and take a moment just to prioritize our agenda, because we've got a few different things that you identified that you like to work on, things you labeled as problems. So we've got work, gym, family, and building healthy habits. So can you tell me which problem would you like to work on today? What would you like to focus on?
I would say let's go with the building healthy habits.
Okay.
I think that kind of encompasses everything. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to review automatic thoughts.
Okay.
And so I printed off a worksheet for you.
Oh, perfect.
And this is actually, I'm going to teach you how to do this. We're going to walk through it, and this is going to be your homework for the upcoming week.
Okay.
So have you ever heard of an automatic thought?
I have not.
Okay. So an automatic thought might be something that pops in your head or just comes to mind. It's something that you don't really focus on, but just all of a sudden is there. And you might notice a pattern. So you said that you made a list of things that when your mood started to kind of change during the week, you went back and you said, man, what was I thinking about to make me go down this bad path? So that thought that caused your mood to change would be an automatic thought. So little did you know, you were already building a foundation for what we're going to be working on this week. So the first thing we're going to look at when we're trying to identify our automatic thoughts are the situations that we find ourselves in. Who were you with? What were you doing? When was it? And where were you? There's going to be different situations that elicit different thoughts. So once you've got a situation written down, and we'll go through one, then we're going to look at what were the automatic thoughts. And our thoughts will always correspond with an image. We'll have an image in our mind. Maybe it was an image or a memory about you in this situation from the past. So for instance, I went to the gym. I have fallen off of the treadmill in the past. So when I looked at the treadmill, I got to the gym, I automatically saw myself flying off of the back of the treadmill and embarrassing myself. So I had to stop and say, okay, that was a past image. It was a past automatic thought, and it almost prevented me from getting on the treadmill altogether. Now, I might not ever fall off of the treadmill again, but I automatically saw myself back at that point in time where I failed, and then I was getting ready to relive the whole thing and avoid the situation altogether. But I went ahead and said, oh man, I recognize that image. I'm getting out of here because it's not helping me move forward. And I got on that treadmill. So that's just a little bit to let you know that you're okay. We all have these automatic thoughts. So one of the things that we're going to look at when it comes to automatic thoughts is just what was going through your mind just before you started to feel that way. Okay? And then after we get through those thoughts, we're going to think about the mood that it elicited. Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you depressed? Did you feel angry? And then we're going to look at the intensity of those moods. Because depending on a scale of 0 to 100, how high that intensity percentage is going to tell you what are those hot thoughts, those hot topics, but really what are those things that really maybe wound you deeply. So how does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's spend a few minutes working through this. How about we use, because you said you wanted to focus on building habits.
Okay.
So you said you didn't go to the gym.
I didn't.
Okay, so you didn't go to the gym this week. What was a thought that popped in your mind?
About not going to the gym?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Oddly enough, I can't think of anything.
Well, did you
Although just now, I guess, when you brought it up, it was, I don't prioritize time.
Okay. So I don't, and I'm going to just jot this down.
Okay. Well enough.
Okay, so when this has come to mind, have you been on your way to the gym, or was it kind of later in the day?
Kind of later in the day, sometimes when I get home,
Mm-hmm.
or, or even the following day, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about, man, there was an opportunity yesterday to go in the morning or in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like,
okay, I didn't prioritize time.
yeah.
Now, before you had that thought, I didn't prioritize time, have you ever had the thought, I don't have enough time? Or I ran out of time?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Because, sometimes we have precipitating thoughts. So at the core of it, it might be the belief, I don't have enough time. So therefore, you automatically have discounted your ability to get somewhere. So let's start with the thought, I don't prioritize time well enough. Okay. So when you were thinking that, were you home?
Yeah.
Okay. And what were you doing?
Typically I just walked in the door or just sat down after getting home.
Okay. And so what time is that about?
Most times it's about 6:30.
Okay, at night. So it's getting kind of late.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're getting home situations, you just got home from work, 6:30 at night, it's late. Your automatic thought is, I don't prioritize time well enough. I'm not going to make it to the gym today. Sound about right? What's your mood at that point in time?
I'm a little disappointed, I guess.
Okay. And so how intense is that mood?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say mostly it's like a 3.
Oh, okay. But we're going to use a scale of 0 to 100% because we want a percentage. So disappointment on the scale of 0 to 100%. What does that look like for you?
I'm usually pretty tired, so it's usually somewhere in the range of like 25-30% disappointed. Like,
okay.
It sucks. We'll try again tomorrow.
Okay. So it's disappointing, but it's not necessarily a hot thought for you.
No.
But it is a frame of mind, an automatic thought that's going to prevent you from reaching your goals.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this automatic thought. Now, it's a pretty general thought, which is good. The fact is you didn't prioritize your time well enough. The truth is you can prioritize your time. So now we want to look at really what can we do to change your thought process to get you to the gym.
Okay.
Okay? So that might look like if you're aware of the fact that you don't prioritize your time well, so now we can say, you know what, that's a fact. The truth is you can learn to prioritize your time well. So what I want for you to do this week is to continue working through identifying automatic thoughts. Okay. Now that one was a pretty general one, but I think what we're going to look at is once we start to unpack more of these automatic thoughts, we're going to get to some core beliefs. And some of the core beliefs that you presented the first session, I think are going to rise up. This automatic thought's pretty general, but the last thought, that last statement, well enough, to me says that maybe there's a little bit of a core belief that it's not good enough. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to continue to unpack these automatic thoughts. So what I want for you to do this week is continue to look at situations, okay? When something happens, just like you did, you notice your mood changed. Then you thought about the automatic thought. Then I want you to go ahead and list your mood here. Write out the automatic thought, okay, that came to your mind, and then look at the situation you found yourself in. And for you, it might be working backwards, which is okay. Other times you might get yourself in a situation and be like, oh my goodness, this situation oftentimes brings about poor feelings. Like for work, when you're at work, I want you to look at some of the moods that maybe change. Look at some of the automatic thoughts and see the situations that you're in, okay? Because once we deal with these automatic thoughts, then we can deal with getting a healthier mindset and frame of mind. And that's what cognitive behavioral therapy is all about, is helping you restructure the way you think, which is going to then influence the way that you see yourself, and then, of course, be able to help you actualize the goals that you have in your life. Okay. All right? Yeah. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. So this is your homework for next week.
Thank you.
Okay? So I want you to work on that. And we are at the end of our session, so I want to just take a moment to just reflect on some of the things that we talked about. So we have talked about automatic thoughts. So can you tell me what an automatic thought is?
It is a thought that isn't necessarily the focus, and it's not something that, like, when a situation arises, something that just kind of pops in our head. You know, and it's from what I understood, it's a mood changer. You know, if we allow it to be.
If you allow it to be. And that's just it. And knowing that you have the power to choose what thoughts you think about. Okay? So let me ask you, is there any feedback that you have for the session? Do you feel like there's anything that you would like for me to work with you more on, or anything that doesn't work for you?
No, I think the session was great. Yeah, I mean, the worksheets are great,
Okay.
very visual, so.
Good. Good. Okay. So if you need anything during the week, of course, you know you can reach out if you have an emergency.
Absolutely.
But I look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, homework, work on those automatic thoughts, and we're going to continue to help build those goals and build healthy habits.
Okay.
Alrighty, it was so good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
All right, bye-bye.